Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
There's a primordial energy that can only have come from Africa.
We're back at Biggie's for Big Brother Naija Season 7. Who will bring the heat? What shakeups will happen within these walls? We'll be discussing everything. Don't miss the new season of The Buzz, Tuesdays and Saturdays from 7 p.m. only on Showmax. With never seen before snippets, interviews and reviews hosted by me, Toke Makinwa. Subscribe now at www.showmax.com.
Good morning. This is another Wednesday, beautiful Wednesday, Women Crush Wednesday, I would say, and I cannot but crush on myself this morning. You're welcome to another edition of the show. The show is Bumper Breakfast. My name is Yinka Kenny. Good to be here this morning. And I'm going to start the show off on what the whole world is talking about presently. And what are we talking about presently? We're talking about the new appointment in the United Kingdom. And that's the appointment of the Prime Minister, Liz Truss. Yesterday she gave her speech, and in her speech she has said so many promising things, to the citizens of the UK. Amongst which she said she is going to turn the United Kingdom into what she called, in her own words, aspiration nation. She said she's going to be doing more on the roads, and when I heard things like doing more on roads, hospitals, and all of that, it sounds more like Nigerian. We're always talking about building roads, building hospitals, but we know that when it's coming from a nation like the United Kingdom, it is much more than what we can talk about here. And she also talked about the energy sector, which is something that is really, really disturbing the United Kingdom and the world at large presently. But what struck me most in our speech was the fact that, and it's surprising that most of the news in Nigerian dailies that I have seen, they did not capture that. But I heard that from our speech. She talked about catering for the neighboring world around them. She mentioned in her speech that there is no point where we have security at home and our neighbors do not have security. That one struck me a whole lot. This morning in the studio with me, I have analyzing the papers with me this morning, a barrister at law, but this morning is going to be acting in the place of a public affairs analyst in the person of Jide Ologun. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for being my guest this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, I was talking about the UK, the new Prime Minister in the UK, and her speech. I'm sure you listened or you have read about what she spoke about. You want to react to that?
Quite awesome, but like you said, these are promises. But what we can say is that given a nation like the United Kingdom, it should be easier to deliver on promises than in our own environment, particularly if you go to the background of her emerging as the new Prime Minister. The people were not pleased with the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. And through the parliamentarians representing the people, he was made to resign from office. You see, and that is a big lesson. Look at how the parliamentarians just started resigning. You know, can you compare that to Africa?
Yeah, but one of our commissioners just resigned.
A bit, and we hope that other leaders will look at that. So, back to the UK, globally there are challenges around, and the essence of government is to try to enhance the fortunes of the people and solve some of these challenges. And right now in the UK, they're talking about energy prices, inflation is biting hard there, and that tells us every society must keep changing towards the better status. And we wish her the best, and she also should learn from what happened to Boris Johnson. But I must say kudos to the system of government in the UK that is amplifying accountability.
Exactly.
As a Prime Minister, you may be the leader, but you are accountable to the people through the parliamentarians. So, best regards to the UK government. And
all right,
this is a plus for feminine gender.
Yes, yes. Right, considering our vice also. So, you know, also, and the greatest challenge I see in all of this, because I have been listening since since she emerged, you know, the UK Prime Minister elect and now the Prime Minister, I've been listening to a lot of reactions by the United Kingdom citizens themselves. They seem not to have confidence in her. Why do you think? Is it because of her gender or antecedent, or why do we? A lot believes she's weak. A lot believes she cannot deliver. A lot. There are so many people being skeptical about what she can do. In fact, I listened to a young lad this morning saying that he said it categorically that she will not deliver.
You know, it's natural and it's a universal concept. When Jesus came, the Nazarene declared and asked a question, what good? It's up to her now to prove the critics wrong or right. Obviously, for every leader stepping into office, everyone cannot agree with you. Everyone cannot be in your support. But you now have a mandate and responsibility to show yourself capable. And that is the challenge right now. And people have their different perceptions for trying to prejudge her performance in office. But some are insinuating that she may not be a performer. I think some are also expecting that she performs. And like the elders say, it's one thing for someone to get you a job. It's for you to do that job excellently. Exactly. So many expected Boris Johnson was going to perform highly, but now he's out of office. So it's the function of leadership. And we have different categories of leadership. We have transformational, transactional, you know, democratic, different glasses where, and so it depends on her style and vision. But from the way she is sounding, if she's wise enough, she should leverage on the
all
vision,
of the exactly
and move on, because in life you have to focus on your vision, and sometimes you can even be derailed by those who are hailing you more than those who are criticizing you. So I think she should draw strength from those who don't even believe in her now and prove them wrong, that she's capable of delivering, particularly when she's from the female gender, and we need a lot of that. If we look at Singapore, the leader is a lady. Look at Tanzania. So I say kudos to her.
Honestly, I just cannot but talk about this morning because it's Wednesday, and I just have to crush on women. Women are doing great things, and like someone said that when a woman decides to achieve a goal, she puts in everything to achieve that goal, and I want to believe that these will be the case with the new UK Prime Minister. I strongly believe that. I listened to her. I saw the determination in her to succeed. And like you said, amidst all of the skeptical views of people around, I want to believe that she will make the women folk proud. And talking about UK being a woman-friendly nation, I'm sure that she will have the free atmosphere to be able to perform. Once again, congratulations to her.
Great.
We go straight to the dailies this morning. I start with the Punch newspaper, and the lead story here is anti-drug war. Federal government freezes 600 accounts, seizes 249 luxury vehicles. NDLEA confiscates $1.3 million. 102,000 pounds, CFA 14 million, 252 million drug proceeds. I think I should take that again. NDLEA, they have confiscated $1.3 million, 102,000 pounds, CFA 14 million, and 252 million naira drugs proceed so far. Court orders interim forfeiture of billionaire Ukatu's 25 property factory. Don't buy drugs for youths. Agency warns politicians ahead of campaigns. And I begin to wonder, what are they doing differently this time around?
You know, we must commend NDLEA for the great performance.
Exactly.
And some of us have said that if the same adrenaline is channeled to the physical insecurity, by now we should have achieved great results. And again, talking to those who indulge in this, so if at the end of the day you are going to lose out, why go into it? And that is, and you know, when you study criminology and crime prevention, you think more about those that can be recruited into the system than even the symptoms of the crime. And here we are now with the youth who are at home because ASU is on strike, and they have a perception of affluence. They want to also, you know, slay and pepper them, and they are easily drawn into this group. And you know, when you are trapped by drug, you lose your senses and you start living in euphoria. So I must ask that with the efforts of the government, parents, worship centers should please rally around and help the younger generation. You know, if we want to secure the future of this nation. And you can see, if you look at section 15 subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution Act as amended, it says that the government shall abolish corrupt practice and abuse of office. So, and inside that, you have the need to fight crime. And if we sustain it, we can begin to cleanse our society, because I'll let you know that globally, we are not keeping a good record at all when it comes to drugs and things like that. But when you look at a nation like Indonesia, they have zero tolerance for drugs, and it is known generally. So we need to look at all this and see how we can alternatively engage people meaningfully. I wish that at this point in time in the country, we have stepped up, even if it's the first level of industrializing the nation, creating jobs, creating employment opportunities for the younger ones, bringing down the inflation rate, making life more meaningful, giving the people energy to power their businesses, secure the environment to attract foreign direct investments. I mean,
And all of these will create more jobs for the youth and channel their energy into something more profitable.
Absolutely, and we also call for transparency and integrity on the part of the law enforcement agents also, because sometimes some of these properties that are seized are recycled again in very corrupt manners. I mean, we have not recovered from the shock of one of the former Super being highly involved in
all of this
crime ring. So we all just need to decide as a nation to allow righteousness. And the Bible says that righteousness exalts a nation. So kudos to NDLEA, and then we hope that the signal is passed across to those who may be seeking to indulge in crime. Crime ends in negative. I mean, it's a universal concept. So
exactly.
Why not engage your time meaningfully, as we also call for an enabling environment?
Okay. All right, the picture story on the front page of the Punch newspaper: Nigeria, Poland plan closer ties. Ink Agric deal. That's the picture story. It's all over the news yesterday. And Fayose believes I will be uncontrollable as governor. Ex-AG Ajayi talking there. And this one interests me a lot. Our governor won't interfere in Ogun Speaker's case. That's coming from Commissioner. And I understand he's been granted a bail in the sum of 300 million naira. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's a billable offense. And in the criminal justice value chain, you need thorough investigation, diligent prosecution, and a committed judiciary. And if the government says it's not going to interfere, that is what the rule of law expects. The judiciary should be independent, even though there's a synergy between the executive, judiciary, and the legislative arms of government, three arms of government that we have. And we must begin to clean the land. Having said that, under the Constitution of Nigeria, he is presumed innocent. He's just an accused person, and under the new criminal law, he's a defendant. I
think we need to hear that a lot in Nigeria, because once we have someone, allegations, we are like, oh, he shouldn't, because I also, even as a broadcast journalist, I was a bit emotional that, oh, you grant him bail. Why will you grant him bail in the sum of 300? But at the end of the day, it's a bailable offense.
And he has not been convicted. So, but like I said, with thorough investigation, which is crucial. Quite a number of times, these accused persons are arrested and we go searching for
investigations.
No. Package your thorough investigation, proceed to diligent, and I mean diligent prosecution, and a committed judiciary, a judicial system that is willing to help the country get out of crime. And if that is done, if at the end of the day they are convicted, and he's not the only one, and I think they even pleaded guilty also, but at least the trial will still take place. Let's watch how that goes. And I go back to section 15 subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended, that says the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office, so that we begin to make that environment conducive for those who actually want to go and serve. And my big question this morning before we leave this is that all this unnecessary wealth that we read about, that people are accumulating, for what purpose? And may you allow me to quote the elders in Yoruba, and I will translate. Which means that the madman does not have the ability to take his eyes off everything he sees. So he packs everything he sees around him. So clutter all around. So let's live and let others live. We have enough resources to go around in the nation. And the glory of office is that you've gone out there to be a blessing to others. And you have made impact in the lives of people. Positive. All right, thank you very much. Federal government grows VAT by 20%, rakes in 1.2 trillion naira. Above the nameplate, we have insecurity, forex crisis, cut capital inflows by 23%. And federal government proposes 200 billion naira, 23.5% pay rise for varsity. So we'll talk about this, but much later. I know it's going to be in all of the papers this morning. INEC deleting double registrants from voter register. That's coming from our Mahmoud this morning.
Well, I don't want to go into the discussion of INEC this morning. I move straight to Daily Trust newspaper. The lead story: after meeting VCs, pro-chancellors, federal government offers professors 35,000, I beg your pardon, 35% pay rise. Other varsity workers 23.5%, and we have the riders to release 200 billion naira next year for revitalization and allowances. Raises new committee to discuss no work no pay policy. Keep your salary increment. Implement our agreement. That's coming from ASU. And Buhari warns government officials against signing unimplementable pacts again. Let's talk about ASU and the federal government. They just seem not to, they don't want to leave the news.
Yeah.
And with the federal government coming with the promise to release 200 billion naira, that's next year. They're going to increase it. They're going to include that with, because this year is gone already. There's little or nothing anybody can do this year. And they are talking about, okay, initially we said it was going to be a no work, no pay. Let us now, I think federal government is beginning to want to come to a compromise. Do you not think, well, everybody, I think ASU should know by now that they are beginning to lose the sympathy of the people. What do you have to say about all of this?
Will I agree that ASU is losing the sympathy of the people?
So it seems
this is beyond sympathy now. And in public relations, we talk about crisis management, proactive and reactive. And obviously, the government has been reactive in managing this crisis. And unfortunately, we are not even emphasizing the consequences. Many lecturers have left Nigeria.
Not just lecturers.
Nations.
Not just lecturers.
I mean, let's our focus be on education sector now. To nations where they are needed and honored to enhance the economic activities and social life of that environment. And this is why our leaders may continue to patronize foreign government. I mean, it shocks me that my president needs to be taken to the UK for treatment. It shocks me, you see, and that will affect our forex. You are not producing, you are not productive. Again, let's go to the integrity of purpose.
Now, so to speak, maybe quote and unquote, well, I can even quote. The federal government is trying to come to a compromise, saying, okay, let us sit at the round table. You see, things that I want to see it in such a way that things we believe, we understand, we agree that things have really gone bad. But let us come, just like the Bible says, let's reason together. Let's see how this is going to work. Why is it that ASU seems not to be shifting grounds?
You see, there is also something called integrity and sincerity of purpose. How many promises have been made at the government? How many of those promises have been honored?
But then we can give benefit of doubt.
Benefit of doubt is no benefit. We should be talking of benefit of trust now. And that is why some of our leaders are more comfortable going abroad for social services. The issue of trust. They don't even trust the system because they have not consciously developed the system. That is it.
So where do we go from here?
We are even discussing a contract that was an agreement that was established, I think, as far back as 2009.
Yes.
So if you have not honored agreement as governor between 2009 as government and 2022, when will you honor it? Is it not just a palliative approach?
That is why the president, you remember that in this case, the president is laying emphasis on the fact that the government officials should be careful about the agreement they want to enter into this time around.
We were not careful in raising the total indebtedness of this country from 12.12 trillion naira in March 2015 to about 39 trillion naira in 2022. We were not careful to sign that contract. I'm worried. You know, I say this personally. By the grace of God, I'm educated, you know, I can attend to all, you know, so it's not as if but I'm worried for this society. And I have said this, and I hope stakeholders are listening. The battle Boko Haram started may have been won extensively by what is going on with our tertiary systems.
Okay, I want to go back to my question before let's just round off on this topic. Where do we go from here?
Where we go from here, bring out this money, pay these people if you have it. A minister of state was saying,
if you have
stop making promises, man. I don't go to the filling station.
At this point, this year, federal government is saying we do not have it.
What have we done with the money?
No,
I just told us now.
Should we now? At this point, are we at the point? Let me ask you this question: are we at the point where we should continue to cry over spilled eggs, or moving forward?
If you don't cry over the spilled egg, you will not learn your lessons. Crying is good sometimes.
So after the tears, what happens?
Man, in the greatest country that God created in the world, go and search the billions of naira that a minister claimed they paid to students who were not in school, welfare, during COVID-19. These things are there. These things are. What do we use the money for? We are treating lecturers like you know, I don't know. I don't.
So are you also an advocate of federal government going to borrow to pay lecturers?
Why are we even borrowing? Because of gross mismanagement. Nigeria has the largest deposit of proven gas in Africa. The war between Ukraine and Russia. But the money we should be. Who are the oil chiefs?
Mr. Jidelogun, you're still not getting me. Yes, all of this we know. All of these are things that we know that, as you know, are cost has added to all the problems we have. But we are at a point where we need to take a decision.
Let me puncture that promise.
And where we need to take action.
Let me puncture that promise. Are you aware that the 2023 budget, we need about 11 or 12 trillion naira to service that deficit budget, out of which about 6.3 trillion naira is proposed to go for subsidy. So where are you going to get the money to give the lecturers? And I'm just expressing myself based on statistics we have studied. There is what in public relations, you talk about monitoring trends and predicting their consequences. And this issue between government and ASU is not rocket science matter if there is a keen interest. I'm a member of the Charter Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. When you take it to the HR angle, there is what we call collective bargaining. And you have to keep faith with your resolutions. You see, so why can't you consult the professionals to advise you? You must keep faith with it. That's what we are saying. But when we have leaders whose children are graduating abroad and they are taking the photographs, so you are giving the best to your children and you are subjecting other citizens to this level of hardship, and you think God will be happy with you, that is not leadership, as far as I am concerned. So if they don't have interest in the local capacity to develop it, where are we going? What do we do with the promises? What do we do with promises? If I hire you to come and work in my organization, I'm not hiring you to make excuses. Deliver, perform. And we have ratings. What was the price of dollar years ago? And I don't want to sound political this morning, but I believe that Nigerians themselves can measure. The price of kerosene now is about 780 naira, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think it's close to 8.
How much do we buy gas? For a country that has the largest deposit of proven gas in Africa?
Okay, so I think we just have to move on.
Let's go back to leadership, that we resourcefully manage our resources to create commonwealth for common good. Nigeria is not a poor nation. By what God has given us.
Definitely not. All right. Below the nameplate of the Daily Trust newspaper, we have 2023 Wike's reluctance delays constitutions of Atiku's campaign council, and over 2 million SMEs collapse in 2 years. That's a statement from the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. All right, I move straight to the Nation newspaper. This morning is still on ASU. The government raises 14-man panel to resolve naughty issues. 23.5% pay rise for teachers likely. Return to classroom. Bishop urges teachers. We have talked so much about that. I think we should move on. PDP campaign team, Atiku May, Sean Wike Tambuwal Ugwanyi Onyilola tipped as a DG, and the detractors after my life, says Rivers governor. That man has been talking so much in the recent times. PDP governorship candidates import accord. Leave us out of your mess. APC warns IU. All right, 103 billion naira paid to oil marketers as a bridging claims in 9 months, says NMDPRA. Okay, above the nameplate, we still have some stories there. Nigeria gets 23 slots as Google lifts 60 African startups with $4 million. That's a better one, something to still smile about, at least. Something to still smile about. Tinubu donates 50 million to Jigar flood victims. And Ogun Speaker, 2 others arraigned over 224 billion naira fraud. I beg your pardon there. And Nigeria, Poland signed a pact on agriculture. I go straight to the Guardian newspaper this morning, and the Guardian has the lead story: federal government to revisit no work, no pay as VCs push to end strike. Federal government announces 23.5% salary rise for lecturers. I think we've talked about all of that in this when we're discussing about the issue between ASU and federal government. And we have Nigeria's 3 million IDPs won't be disenfranchised in 2023 poll. INEC assures. I don't know how INEC is going to do that. Let's talk about 2023 elections now.
I think INEC has sufficient budget to really deliver.
Okay.
So if they don't deliver, it will be highly disappointing.
We're talking about the people at the that are some sort of displaced now. So how, with our data, with everything, do they have PVCs? Let's start from that.
What I say, you may be surprised that quite a number of them will have PVC. It depends on the interest of the politicians. But I know that when it comes to election matters, they are on edge. They push everywhere. It's so important to them. You can imagine all the consultations going on in London and in Nigeria everywhere. If those consultations had been sustained to solve the problems of Nigeria, by now we should be the third richest country in the world. So I can let you know that they will go everywhere to get votes, whether it's IDP or anywhere. But caring for the people in the IDP is another ball game entirely. So you will expect a lot of high-profile performance towards earning votes in this 2023 election. And like I said, I believe INEC is ready as the umpire, and the politicians are ready for the sleepless nights. But what happens after the election? We don't know why.
Let's have the elections.
Lukewarmness just comes in, and sometimes the utter deafness to the cries of the people and blindness to the plight of the people, you see. And that is why the electorate also must wake up.
I think we are all waking up.
Wake up and act up.
Oh, I strongly believe in Nigeria. I'm a strong believer
Lovely
in
nation.
Nigeria. Honestly, I'm a strong believer of Nigeria. And for the records, I don't intend to Japan.
If we even, you see, this Japa syndrome is another point entirely. You may have the grace not to Japa, but for many, the frustration is overwhelming. And I can let you know, bankers, even those who have good jobs, that sense of insecurity, it's so high. But we pray that, like Rwanda is celebrating a turnaround, that Nigeria will also celebrate a turnaround. I pray that we are at the breaking point where you just decide that no,
enough is
we are
enough.
not proceeding, because it's really bad. You must say.
Yes. Okay, the last paper with me this morning is a Nigerian Tribune. The lead story still, I said it that ASU is going to be the talk of the day.
Imagine that at the time we spent 100 billion naira to turn around moribund refineries, undeniably. Imagine that money was pushed let's even assume we have decided to cripple the refineries so that those who are importing and collecting subsidy can continue to call, and those who are stealing our crude oil and they will account to God one day can continue their nefarious business.
Oh my.
Imagine putting that 100 billion into education, and they say it. If it's important to you, you will find a way.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Out of the 24 scarce hours in a day, you create time for what is important.
No, but
that's what we are
you
saying.
see,
you spend so much.
Mr. Gideologo,
you
you seem not to get me. It's just like, okay, let me give you the instance of the family head, the man in the house. He's made this mistake, he's done this, he's done that, now he's calling his family to a round table. Yes, I have made all of this mistake. Oh, some irredeemable mistakes. I have a child outside, I have gotten another wife, I have spent the money for the upkeep on buying clothes, I have spent it. Let us come to the round table. This is where we stand. This is what we have now. What can we do? What can I...
Fantastic. That head of the family should be commended. But if 2 days down the line, he impregnates the house head, there is crisis. You see, you know what? Let me tell you what may happen. Students may go back to school towards the 2023 elections. For political reasons. But when you talk about investment in education in Nigeria, we have failed. And if you don't educate your citizens, you are in danger. This is a global concept. John 8:32 says, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Knowledge is important. It is absence of education that will make someone to slaughter a fellow human being over an argument of 100 naira. We need to look at it. If you know the crime against this nation, you'll be amazed. And unfortunately, nations that appreciate education, they are pumping what we call brain gain to them and brain drain to us. I monitor trends. Compare the Chibok girls that were even released and are in Nigeria with those who escaped to America years after. These things are obvious. So our leaders must know it's for their own good. For a Gideologo, I can maneuver. I can trek now from this studio to my office. I'm a free man. They are the ones in National Assembly. They are the big men and big women. And let them come back. So if you want to come back to a sane society, begin to develop that society. And if you want to come back to a crime-infested society, where kidnappings and all that, then go ahead and pretend as if there are no problems. But only God will not leave office. You will leave office one day.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm amazed by the elderly ones who should be sitting down and advising, running around now consulting because of elections. It shouldn't be done. Give us a great society. God has given us the resources. We have more than enough in this country to go around. Let's throw the greed away. Why should somebody, Accountant General of the Federation, be accused of over 80 billion? This billions is just like 1 naira now. You hear billions and ASU is there shouting for what? They are not just shouting for, it's their benefit. Not just that, but for reviving the education system.
Okay, I think we have to call it a wrap on the issue of ASU on that. I just pray and hope, and I know that Nigerians prays and hopes that there will be some sort of headway to all of this. I will just run through the Nigerian Tribune this morning, and the list story still is on ASU strike, and committee of VC set up peace team. No malls 800,000 naira salary for professors. Federal government can only afford moves. Committee of VC sets up peace team, moves 800,000 naira salary for professors, and federal government can only afford a 35% increment for professors, 23.5% for others. That's coming from the minister. No work, no pay. Policy may be reviewed, and 14-man committee set up to review gray areas, salary increase without collective bargaining unacceptable. That's Uni Abuja ASU. Gunshots as hoodlums clash in Lagos. Lautech graduates return certificate, demands fees refund. Customs seized 33.3 million naira explosive making chemical military uniforms in Ogun State. And tribunal dismisses suit against multi-choice over the DSTV and Go TV price hike. Below the nameplate, we have 31% of Nigerians still can't read and write. A report from the federal government. Nigeria positioning to be major gas supplier to Europe, coming from Silver this morning, and we've made significant impact across Kwara State. That's coming from the Kwara State governor this morning. Above the nameplate, Atiku to meet ex-PDP presidential aspirants, former VP, ex-reps, principal officers hold parley. Finally, this morning we have our PDP bigwigs aided Buhari's re-election. Still, the Rivers State governor talking here, Miss PDP Guba candidates in Port Harcourt, and that is where I'm going to be calling it a wrap on this segment this morning. A big thank you to my guest this morning, Mr. Jide Ologun. I appreciate your presence in our midst this morning.
Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
All right, we go on a short break. When we return, my next guest will be here with me in the studio. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
There's a primordial energy that can only have come from Africa.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes, and I win.
We got an emergency, girlfriend.
Keep up on me, come on, let's go. Keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get in. I'ma keep winning till the world stops.
Wow, you look great. Did you just come from the salon? Darling Superstar, braids that stay salon fresh no matter what.
A world of free entertainment awaits you. Anywhere, anytime, at the click of a button. A world where everyone is included. A world without subscriptions. A world where entertainment lives in your pocket, on your couch. This is a world of premium free. Why pay? Just watch.
Smell good. This morning, a dental surgeon, okay, in the person of Dr. Wemambu John.
Yeah,
Let's take my time to call that your name.
It's better this time around.
Let's take my time to call that your name. He's the secretary in Nigerian Dental Association, Lagos Zone, and he's a maxillofacial surgeon. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Maxillofacial surgeon with Bagada General Hospital. In fact, I've been trying to pull this man here for the past 1 month.
And you did a good job. You got me. I'm here finally.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being our guest. Yeah. Talking about oral health. This is our mouth. Even at times when you decide to neglect the ear, you decide you could be having some pains in your ear. You just say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, next tomorrow. Your eye, you might not be seeing well, and you still be straining your eye. I have a lot of people that will say, I don't want to use glasses. They'll still be managing. But when we talk about oral health, talking about dental health, if you do not take it, once you open your mouth, everybody knows. Tell us about how generally the layman out there can easily take care of take care of the dental health.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start, like you were saying, well, most importantly, once there is pain in every part of the body, you just have to look for solution. Ear, eye, mouth, anywhere, because pain, when it comes, could be that depressing and devastating that you just have to look for a solution. Now, when we talk about oral health, I would just say it's the health of the teeth, the gum, and every area associated, where we call the orofacial region, which I would, for simplicity, say from the neck all the way up to the head. So this whole area encompasses the oral health region. Okay. And then you were saying how important it is, we need the mouth and our teeth for eating, for smiling, for speaking. In fact, when you come in contact with someone, the first thing just from saying hi, the first thing you want to notice is the person's teeth and the mouth. There's this picture that trended some time ago about a guy with a lost central tooth, and then the eyebrow was shaved, and the first thing everybody noticed, even for me, the first thing everybody noticed was the missing tooth before you even noticed that the eyebrow was shaved out. So when we talk about that, and that's why the dentist, we define the mouth as the window to the body. Now, the importance of the window to a house. It brings in ventilation, takes out foul odor and everything. That is how the mouth is to the body. So it's very, very important when we talk about oral health. We are talking about the gen of partaking to, or partaking that are injurious or very, very inimical to both the oral health and the dental health. Talk about even from childhood, when you talk about, you see children that suck their thumb or tongue. You see people that have pins, always putting pins and biting on pins, even not brushing properly or adequately, and even the types of toothbrushes and toothpaste you use. All this is back, and a major complaint was mouth odor, that she feels she has a bad breath. So after interacting with her, I had to counsel her, because when we talk about mouth odor, there is this part that we say it's physiological. You find it in everybody, every one of us. Once we fast or we sleep and we wake up, that's a physiologic mouth odor. Your breath is not as fresh as it should be. So that's normal, it's physiologic. You take a sip of water, or you go brushing, or you eat something, it's off. But then we have those that are pathological, they are caused by, there is a cause, it's forming holes, they cause mouth odor. Now, when you also have what we call accumulation of plaque. Now, you look at some people, you see their teeth, at the base of it, you find some of these yellowish, at times greenish. Those are what we call plaque. They are actually bacteria that has calcified. And because they've calcified, they are there, very visible in the teeth and adherently attaching to the teeth. Their odor, they cause bad breath, in the sense that they eat up the supporting tissues of those teeth they are attached to, causing a problem there, and then it manifests as mouth odor. Now, still talking about mouth odor, you have that are like that. They actually don't have this mouth odor, but something just keeps telling them, I have a bad breath, I have a bad breath. Now, these ones, aside counseling, you refer to the mental health people, because it has to do with psychological prepping to get them out of it. So mouth odor is an encompassing field. And I tell people, you have diabetics who come in to the dentist, and the dentist notice, because there is a smell from them, we call it ketone smell, that you perceive, this person, and then you are able to refer this person to the endocrinologist. You have people that have liver issues that come into the dental clinic, and you detect from just that odor. So there are lots and lots of causes for mouth odor. Now, solving it depends on what is actually the cause of it and how to go about it. But we'll come back to the general one, which is caused by caries, cavities on teeth, bacteria that is not brushing adequately, and maybe the food you eat. So for these two, if you have these holes and cavities on your teeth, you go to a dentist, they clean out your teeth and fill it. It improves. Now, for the other one, maybe the food you take strong scented food. All you need to do is, after taking this food, a rinse or a brush out helps improve it. And then, like we say, the general one that is caused by just poor oral hygiene. That one is done by, you visit your dentist, they do what we call scaling and polishing. They clean this bacteria out. Now, you cannot do it at home with your toothbrush, really, because these are like stones, calcific stones, stones that have calcified and attached it. So you can't do it by toothbrushing. It needs to be mechanically removed. Now, the irony is that for some of these, they are not just around the neck of the teeth where you see. Some of them are below the neck of the teeth, where we call subgingival. So you don't see it. You appear to just have, very good, you look at it, but I don't have this there. But they are in there. So until you visit a dentist who mechanically scoops them out, you wouldn't know.
Okay, tell me this morning now, I want to talk to the common Nigerian out there like me. What are the basic things to do to keep good oral health?
Well, it's simple.
And things to keep away from.
Okay, it's simple, pretty simple. You ask yourself, what and what?
For someone like me, I just wash my teeth. That's all. Wash my teeth in the morning and wash my teeth at night. That's all.
Okay, you are halfway there. You should visit your dentist at least as regularly as possible.
I don't think I do, except when I have to go and, I have an artificial tooth. So when I have issues with that artificial tooth. So I should, whether I have problem or not.
Yes, you should.
Just like the medical checkup.
Yes. When you say you're going for a medical checkup, your medical checkup is not complete without a dental checkup. Like I said earlier, some of these conditions, some conditions are actually detected first from the mouth and the teeth. I've had cases to send people to go and do some tests, some viral tests, retroviral tests, because I saw something on their gum.
Ooh.
I didn't have to tell them, but I said, you know what, I'll recommend you just things. So there are lots of conditions that are first noticed. And then, with health generally, the earlier it is detected, the higher the chances that it will be resolved, the better for you. And so if the mouth is the window to the body, it just falls into place that you shouldn't just take care of your general health. Your dental health should also be paramount. So like I said, pretty simple. You watch the things you eat. You watch when you eat them. Now, it's very important. The when part of it is very important to prevent caries. Yes, the when part of what you eat. Now, for some of us sweet tooths out there, biscuits, chocolates. All sorts of candies and all sorts. Even some of us that like rice and plantain, dodo, ripe one, fried, fried plantain. So we eat them because we cannot stop you from eating food. But what we can do is you finish eating, you rinse out.
Okay.
If you cannot do that, then you watch the time you eat them. Okay. What happens is when you eat, especially you take all these candies, we call them in-between meal snacks, especially the kids are going back to school. Some have even resumed, some are going back. You pack all sorts of biscuits, candies, chocolates for them. We always advise that you let the teachers know that much as they are snacks they take, but they take these snacks very close to meal times. Not that they finish a meal, maybe an hour or two later they take the snacks, then before they take another meal, some 3-4 hours. No, they take it just, if you know they are going to take a meal in like 30, 15, 20 minutes, you give them the snacks.
They won't eat again.
No, what this does is, when they take those snacks, the residue that are not easily cleansed out, the chewing action, the masticatory action of the teeth actually gets them out. So if you are not rinsing immediately after, then the chewing action of that food gets those residues out and keeps the teeth surface clean, because as you chew, it does that. So we say you eat just towards meal time, not far away from it. Then other things, like I said, you visit your dentist regularly. Then for the tailors and the seamstresses around amongst us.
I wanted you to go there.
For the seamstresses and the tailors around, that maybe the stress of the work, and you always have them, they put pin in between their teeth. And even without putting pin, even for us that are not seamstresses and tailors, you have toothpick permanently in your teeth. If you notice over time, if you've done that, you notice over time, you find out that you begin to have spaces in between the teeth. Because that continuously puts pressure on the support tissues of the teeth, and then the teeth just gradually moves. And once it starts moving, you begin to have spaces. That means your